الله سبحانه وتعالى علينا بنصر وفتح مبين بفضل الله عز وجل. والله أكبر والعزة لله والله ناصر عباده ولكن الله أكبر.
My Arabic is very rusty, but to translate, I think that was, I'm never buying my clothes from a Jewish store ever again. I mean, the quality is not bad, but they're just too tight. Or something like that. Now, that was the battle cry, the jihadist battle cry. And if you want to see it written down, you can now, because it's in the middle of Tirana. We've discussed this before. On a huge wall known as Little India, part of Toronto, with a large Hindu and non-Muslim South Asian community. There's that graffiti, and now people don't know what it means, but it is. It's Quranic, but it's also a battle cry. It's not the part of the Quran that calls for tolerance, the earlier chapters, or speaks of love and poetry. It's about conquest and victory, and it's triumphalist, and it shouldn't be there. But someone who should be here is Councillor John Parker, who signed a petition initiated by Tariq Fatah calling for this to be removed. Are you joined by other city councillors in Toronto, or are you the only one foolish enough to do it?
Frankly, it's not a topic of conversation around City Hall, at least the conversations that involve me, so I don't know who else may have expressed an opinion. I've
looked at we broke down the community in your ward, and yet I think after English, the second most common language is the language of Pakistan, Urdu. And
Urdu is a very common language in a couple of the communities I represent in particular.
Pakistan is 90-odd% Muslim. Next after that, I think, becomes Farsi, the language of Iran. So there's quite a few Muslims in your ward. You're not nervous of alienating them?
No, I would think that the Muslims I represent would be on the same side of this issue that I am. I would think they'd be outraged and offended by that sort of message on a in a public space.
Mm-hmm. I mean, those who support it, or defend it, should I say, have said, oh, no, it's taken out of context, always taken out of context. It's about spiritual cleansing and love and inclusion and all that sort of thing. Do you buy that?
Not for 1 minute. And the only context we have there is the great big surface that presents the message to the passers-by. There's no context to suggest that there is anything other to be understood than the battle cry that it so clearly is.
Mm-hmm. Paula Fletcher, I think it is. I'm sure a close friend of yours on Toronto City Council.
Paula and I get along just fine.
Yeah, politically, you're not aligned, are you, politically?
Well, she doesn't always vote the right way, but Paula's a fine person.
Is she? Oh, dear. Anyway, let's see her being a fine person in this clip when being asked about this mural, please.
I don't read Arabic, and we've sent that out to the scholar at U of T, and I'm going by that interpretation.
According to Tariq Fatah, the scholar she spoke to has a point of view and an agenda. And that seemed a very floppy argument to me. Well, I don't know. I asked someone else and they said it was okay. I mean, that's, teachers, when you're a little kid, I mean, why did you do it? Well, he told me to. Well, if he told you to jump out the window, would you? That's not an answer. That's an excuse.
It's, with all respect to Paula, that's not the approach I would take if that showed up in my ward. I would want to know exactly what's going on, who's behind it, what message are they telegraphing, and what message is understood by those who are seeing it. Not that I've made a great study of it, but my understanding is that that's not a gentle message. That is an offensive message, and it's one of not of tolerance, not of the kind of thing that we would want to promote in a public space, certainly in a city like Toronto, in a country like Canada.
And of course, there's always public money involved. And I wonder if it said, I don't know, Jesus is the only way, or only through Christ is there salvation, which, by the way, I wouldn't support either. But if it was that, do you think they would have the same, and so many are, the same liberal response of, oh, come on, we can live with this, it's okay?
I would frankly not be the least bit surprised to find that there is some objection to a message like that.
Yeah.
And it's not something I would urge anyone to put forward. I'm not sure that's the best way to communicate a profound religious belief. But I think you're onto something. I think the forces that would mobilize against something like that are far more easily brought to bear than seems to be the case with this situation.
Yeah. By the way, now, you're not my councillor. I'm in the West End. I don't know
you can always move.
Your prices. And I don't know you very well at all, but I have to say, you do a wonderful job. There is way too much flippancy and eccentricity on Toronto City Council, and you're one of the people on City Council who restore my faith in municipal politics, so well done to you.
Well, I'll see what I can do about that. But I try to be as flippant as possible. But thank you for the comment.
It's a pleasure. Thanks very much.